Any of your family ever seen a spook, specter, or
Marshmallow Man? Burn him!
Oh my god.
So if you weren't aware today, folks, that Ghostbusters Afterlife reviews have been out for a few days now, I believe, and I'm just going to go with 3 prominent reviews I've seen online and talk about them quickly. And there might be some spoilers here, so if you don't want to know anything, by all means just come back to this video after you've seen the film, which is released on November the 19th. Gizmodo, their headline is Ghostbusters Afterlife is great until it's derailed by gratuitous fan service. How dare they do that? How dare Jason Reitman gratuitously relinquishes or gives us full fan service? Okay, so what do they say here? Ghostbusters Afterlife is a film at war with itself, unsure of exactly what it wants to be. On one hand, it's a heartwarming tale of family in need, forced out of their home, hoping to get a fresh start in life. I kind of like that. That's something that I tend to resonate towards. I love that stuff. On the other hand, it's a sequel to 2 of the most beloved sci-fi comedies in film history, not the Paul Feig version. Afterlife basically pushes Carrie Coon's character to the side, okay, and brings in Phoebe to the forefront. Trevor is somewhere in the middle. Phoebe is a quirky outcast because she's so incredibly smart for her age. Well, you get child geniuses, and very quickly she starts to unravel the mystery her grandfather left behind. Soon, with some help from a new friend named Podcast, Logan Kim, the proton packs and ghost traps make their triumphant return. All of this is when Ghostbusters Afterlife is at its best, and when it's good, it's very good. Seeing these young characters somehow completely unaware of the massive events that took place in 1984 New York, discover that ghosts are real, and how they are able to trap them is at times completely exhilarating. Nonsensical? A little bit, but hugely enjoyable nevertheless. This is also in part to Reitman, expertly intermingling Elmer Bernstein's original spooky Ghostbusters music with Rob Simonson's more traditional but effective update, resulting in an excellent alchemy of nostalgia and progress. I like that cluster of words at the end. Very, very cool. That's really good. Okay, something else that Gizmodo have gone on to say. In 2016, director Paul Feig wholly reimagined the franchise and was harshly criticized by some fans. No, it's many fans before it was even released, for being too far from tone and the story of the original film. Not to mention the fact that the Ghostbusters were now chicks. This film, in many ways, feels like a subtle response to some of those sentiments. The next-gen Ghostbusters, for lack of a better descriptor, is Phoebe, Podcast Trevor, and his crush, Lucky, Celeste O'Connor, are made up of multiple ages, races, and genders. That's cool, that's fine, that's great. So let's go on to Empire's review quickly. Okay, so they said it's not quite the same as Ghostbusters as we know it, but entirely feels like Ghostbusters. Okay, so what do they say here? The film has plenty of fun before the ghosts appear, with Phoebe and Podcast running loose around town. You know, that's what teenagers being about, running around town, getting into scrapes, getting into smaller, minor, minuscule bits of trouble. Not today's universe in England, stabbing people, doing whatever, forming gangs. Back in the 80s, it was all about having your own little friendship with somebody, a little clique, a little circle of friends. You do things when the world was a pre-internet, you know what I mean? It's not like that anymore. Playing with proton packs, forging a relationship based on mutual oddness, as all good friendships should be formed. When the ghostly action really kicks in later, you can feel Reitman's thrill in it. The enthusiasm of a man who's known Ghostbusters since he was 6. Important point to note, guys. He uses the same modest directorial style as his father. Few flashy shots, but plenty happening on screen. Many of his effects have an 80s style simplicity. Hallelujah, hallelujah. But so subtly so. Some of his ghosts appear to be puppets. Perfect, not CG. And he knows the spooky power in a bit of dry ice and colored light. Very traditional ways to get these scares, the spooks going on. It's rich with affection for its source, but excited about new ways how to play with it. Fantastic. That's great. Empire have been hit and miss for me in many years, but that's kind of the first time I've seen them talking about lucidly, that's the word I'm using, in the correct form. They're really enthusiastic about this. Is great. People are really excited for this film. I am as well. That's great. McKenna Grace is the heart of the film. And in her preternaturally able hands, Phoebe is quietly a fearless kid who is fascinated by anything but doesn't understand, be it gadgets, ghosts, or people. I don't understand people, but gadgets and ghosts, I'm okay with that. Grace uses shades of the late Harold Ramis, rest in peace dude, performance as Egon, but with a rebellious streak of her own. That's it. Take the essence of a character that we loved before, make it your own in your own way. That's what. Oh my God! You know what, guys? The thing is, my word! I think about the old days of hype. When you're hyping a movie, the hype train. I remember Peter Travers. He had this quote on a billboard for Face Off, and his quote was simply, "The holy grail of action movies." That's all I needed to know. Now we've got Twitter having a meltdown, other aspects of social media having their take on why we should remember the 2016 Ghostbusters. No, we shouldn't. It's a pile of shit. Forget about it. Move on. So, I just wish there were days like those again. I was saying to a friend yesterday, like, in the 80s, there was no internet. The world was a better place because it felt bigger. Now we've got everything around us. Everything is kind of squashing in on itself, and I really hate that. Oh my God. So let's go into this other one quickly. And again, Variety, and I've got their article lined up here. So Ivan Reitman's son and a teen cast resurrect the Not Quite Dead franchise. I love that. That's by Peter de Bruges. Back from the dead, Ghostbusters gets a fresh jolt of energy from Juno director Jason Reitman, who offers fan service alongside a new entry point for younger audiences. Okay, but we do need the older audiences, the old guard like myself. So the old guard like me, don't forget us guys. I'm pretty sure Reitman hasn't done that. In the lead up releasing Ghostbusters Afterlife, Sony has played it fairly tight-lipped about what exactly this movie might be. Is it a prequel? Is it a sequel? Is it a bird? Is it a plane? Is it some kind of a spin-off? Pretty much any discussion of the answer will come as a spoiler to those who like surprises, so be warned that this review is not intended as a marketing tool for the studio. Those seeking coy teasers are better off watching the trailers. Whereas Dan Aykroyd, Bill Murray, and Ernie Hudson, love that dude, projected too much schmarmy, oversexed swagger in the first time round, well, it's other time, and I've got no problem with that. God knows we need a bit of that in today's films, that's for sure. It's fun to see them looking a little bit more rickety and vulnerable in their old age, while still holding their own against terror dogs and whatever other demons trying to break through from the other side. Special effects have advanced light years since 1984, and yet Reitman, the younger, makes the respectable decision to stick to the look of the original film. You got to. Opting to use models and practical tricks where possible, but not ruling out CG where necessary. Second time I've seen that, I'm glad to hear that. It's nice to see a much doofier, love that word, romance between between Coon and Rudd's characters. Ant-Man star. Well, actually, don't forget, Carrie Coon was also in Endgame as well, approximate midnight. So they should have actually known that. Okay, right, so I'm just going to conclude it with this, guys, because there are a few spoilers which I've not read myself, but I don't want you getting mad at me in the comments below. Between Stranger Things and the upcoming Top Gun sequel, 80s pop culture nostalgia seems to be at an all-time high. Goddamn right it is. But Afterlife tries not to lean too heavily on that sentiment alone. It's designed to work for those who've never seen any of the franchise's earlier incarnations, and though the film adopts an unmistakably Amblin-esque vibe, there's an obvious what if the Goonies were Ghostbusters. Oh my god, this gets better and better. Sensibility at work here, reinforced by Spielbergian magic hour shots of kids assembling around a Devil's Tower-shaped rock formation. You needn't have grown up on such movies to appreciate how they elevate adolescent rejects to hero status. Woo-wee! My God. Guys, that was just a bit of a mouthful. I hope I haven't spoiled anything too much for you about Ghostbusters Afterlife. I enjoyed reading the selective paragraphs I highlighted for you in today's video. If you enjoyed this reaction today to my thoughts and feelings about pop culture nostalgia, leave a comment below, leave a like, and I'll see you on my next round of videos this week. In October, the season, the month of Halloween. Greatest time ever. Take care, folks.